to another gorgeous day. It's kind of it makes that music kind of gets you, I don't know, it's hooked. It gets me hooked. That's the word I'm looking for. It gets me hooked. But another gorgeous day on planet Earth and another day of dose of Did You Know, where intriguing, inspiring, unique individuals come to talk love and life and how it has plopped them in this world. Today, I am your host, Danny Rocco, and with me is the beautiful, all the way from the West Coast, Miss Mia. How are you?
I'm well. How are you?
I am doing fantastic. I have been looking forward to this. Well, I was looking forward to this way before we met. And then, yes, because a little birdie named Tommy had told me about you. And then we met the last time I was in San Diego. And I'm like, oh, this is going to be so fun. And then you showed me your film. But before we start going, tell the world a little bit about who you are.
Well, my name is Mia Rivera. I'm a very proud U.S. Army veteran, combat medic, and I am originally from the Bay Area. I moved to L.A. to pursue first songwriting and then ultimately filmmaking. So I'm a creator, writer, producer, actor, songwriter, you name it. I'm sort of trying to wear a lot of hats.
And you do it well. How did you transition to that? Because that's one of the questions that, I mean, you're a Spitfire. All of you are like this tall because we went out and took a picture. I think there's a picture out there on my page and I'm legit bending down and like squatting and I'm still like towering over you. I'm like, seriously?
In all fairness, you were wearing heels and I wasn't. I am all of 5 feet tall. I finally made it to 5 feet tall. I was at 4'11" for a painfully long time in my teens. And I was like, am I ever going to reach, 5 feet tall? So I got the short end of the stick. What can I say?
Yeah. There was definitely a foot difference that day. It was hilarious. But so how did you?
I try to make it up with hair, Have you noticed I always kind of have the high hair happening? Hey, you got to work with what you got,
So true. Man, I do that every day. I wake up, I'm like, all right, God, what's it going to be today? Like, what has sagged? What has moved? What do I need to put back into place? I mean, Lord, you hit a certain age and just, it's not all the same anymore.
Girl, you are beautiful inside and out. So I don't know what you're worrying about.
Okay, but my serious question that I want to know is like, I feel like, yeah, right? Serious. No, because I don't make lines and we don't want that. Is how did you go from Army medic, which makes me think of one thing, into this whole other actress, singer, songwriter, producer? How did that transition happen? Because I feel like that wouldn't be easy or natural.
Well, to be honest, I started off writing poetry when I was, probably 3 feet tall. And no, as a little girl, I started off writing poetry. And one of the poems had a melody in my mind. And I was like, how bizarre, this melody going with my poem. And I just couldn't forget it, even with my bad memory. So finally, I thought, this poem wants to be a song. So let me figure out how to do that. So, lots of stumbling, lots of falling by the wayside, picking myself up by the bootstraps. So that was something that started with me as a little girl. Now joining the Army, well, it was severalfold. I love our country. I feel so blessed to have been born here, so lucky. And I just love our country. So I've always been very patriotic. And I also wanted to challenge myself, giving away a little bit of my generation. The commercial for joining the Army was "Be All You Can Be." And so I wanted to see what I could be. And so, also they would always say, the Army does more before 9 o'clock than most people do all day. And I tell you, that is true. Absolutely true. So, so I applied all those wonderful lessons and the strength that I didn't know I had until I joined the Army, and I applied it to every area of my life. So,
so you didn't just like Such a lesson that everything that you do ripples, whether you consciously do it or you subconsciously do it, it ripples into every aspect of your life. That's why they always say, like, the people you hang out with will determine who you become. In your thoughts, all of a sudden, you can look back 5 years and be like, have you ever had those moments of like, how did I get here? Well, what were your surroundings for 5 years? That's what it is. So you consciously kind of taken that philosophy and that truth and have applied it. And then you went back to something that was it seems like so embedded in your soul, that writing, that creative side that so many of us throw to the waste. Like, I mean, I've done it. I used to be this amazing artist. I used to do sketches and they were brilliant. They all burnt in a fire we had at my father's house. So all I have is this memory. You have to take my word for it. But there were people out there that have seen it besides me. But I never took it back up. And I think I tried it once since then in a plane ride. And I was like, oh, I still got it. But that was it. It didn't spark that same passion that I had for it back then. But this has like stayed with you. I mean, did you write while you were serving? I mean, did you always write even before that? Has it been consistent in your life?
Yes. And I think it started when I was little because most people wouldn't believe it now, but I was shy as a little girl. So I think that writing gave me an opportunity to, not be on the outside looking in, but to, in my writings, be, on the inside looking out, or not bothering to look out at who's looking in. So it definitely stayed with me. Definitely while I was serving, I wrote, because that was the best way that I knew to deal with whatever I was going through at the time. Mm-hmm. So it definitely stayed with me. And my parent, I had planned on going into law, and had very shortly before I finished my time in the Army, I went from, being a medic to the JAG unit, actually, but it was very, very short-lived. And because I was exploring that, and in college, I, was sort of heading in that direction. I had a very unusual major called rhetoric, which is not a major at most schools, but anyway,
what the hell is that?
It's like analysis and debating and argumentation, verbally and in writing. So it really gave me a more critical eye, I guess you could say, or a more analytic eye towards whatever I was writing. I would, free flow writing and then go back like with the editor's hat and really, try to explore, because even then, I was dealing with characters, that I was interacting with or that I was living vicariously through. And so while it seems like totally different stages, they really kind of, can easily blend into each other. So, long story short, I became a professional songwriter. And then after a while, I went into acting. And then from acting, I kind of revisited my writing to create characters and films and episodes and whatever that I could be the star,
Smart.
Well, everyone says that. So I thought, well, maybe there's something to that. I don't know. I'll try it because I'm not getting any leading lady parts, I'm getting a lot of parts, but they're like very fast and very few lines. And, let me see. And also, while in my songwriting, I dealt with a lot of sad songs. When it came to writing for, scripts, I, for some reason, completely flipped the script and went to comedy, and which is a part of really who I am. And so it's just been an amazing ride. And I just feel like one thing has helped me move on to the next and given me more tools in my tool belt to,
Sure seems that. And it kind of thinks like when you were writing, when you were younger and you were shy, were you developing your personality through that? Because I know when we're people that are outgoing, they develop, and especially as children, they develop through that, how people react to the way they're reacting. And, this is how our personalities are kind of molded. So did you kind of do it in a different way? Or did you feel like you were doing it through writing, of how that creativity piece?
Definitely, because, as a child that's shy, you want to know what it's like to be the cool kids,
Yeah.
and so since I couldn't be the cool kids in real life, I could write about it, because
Yeah.
I was always watching people, because I wanted to know how different people act in different situations.
Mhm.
And so maybe the most valuable skill I've had since I was a child was people watching, because that definitely helps you in songwriting, in script writing, in acting, so that if you're not actually going through something yourself, you can see how other people handle those situations and decide if that's how you would want to handle it, or if you wouldn't want to handle it that way.
Right. I'm such a big people watcher. I could sit and watch. People fascinate me. Simply fascinate me.
Yeah.
I think it would be fun if there was some secret camera, and in my world, right?
Yeah.
And when I go back and look at it, I think it would be like looking at a stranger.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
You don't really know how you act and what
other
you
people.
say and how you interact with people, because you're just in the moment, and then it goes. And
yes,
maybe I don't want to see that, but it would be fascinating.
It would be fascinating, and for me, I know it would change my behavior completely, because when I think I'm being funny, like, I'm probably the only one laughing. I don't know. I laugh at my own jokes. What can I say?
That's all that matters. It's all that just right here. I got to know about, you wrote a script.
Yes.
And you acted it out, and I watched it. Funny. It was one of those that it reminded me of something old, maybe like Archie Bunker, but not Archie Bunker. That's like going to give people the wrong thing. But with new, funny, just funny. Like, it's not disrespectful. Like, Archie was like, whatever, but that's kind of maybe that the characters or the way they looked remind me of that kind of era. But then with this new, it had this like new twist, and just that kind of funny that you're like, oh my God, I think I've had that conversation before.
Thank you. I appreciate that, because, the way I write is really from just in here, so far. I mean, I haven't had to like go and, purposely watch a certain group or whatever. I just pull from my own experience or my own sense of humor, or a lot of times what I wish I could say out loud, but it would be like a no. But the characters in Lizzie's plan can say whatever, because it's not me, it's the character,
Right.
Some of it is me.
You can totally say whatever you want to say, which is kind of cool. But this is, a lot of people are thinking exactly what you're thinking, because I thought when I was watching that, I was like, ooh, I think I might have done that before in my life. I think that manipulation has come out. It might like once or twice.
So, it's either something I've done, or I wished I could do, or I should have done, or if that situation comes up, what I would like to do, but
yeah. That's I think where I really enjoyed it was that piece of it. And you did great at pulling in, because you are proud of your service. You do love this country. So you brought it in without it being in your face, and this is all who you are. You can definitely see in your creativity that you're more than just an Army medic vet. You're more than just, a singer-songwriter. You really did well at diversifying how you come across.
Thank you. I really appreciate that. Well, this was my first film, actually, and the script came to be, because I was taking a class where we were studying, it was for just veterans, and we were studying ancient Greeks. And no one said this, but my feeling for the reason of for having the class is so that it would help veterans deal with PTSD, perhaps, to get them to talk in the guise of these war stories that we were studying,
Right.
And tragedies, the Greek tragedies. And it was pretty heavy for me, quite honestly. So, and I'm kind of a procrastinator. So I waited till the last minute. I wrote out a script for a film. From the beginning, they said we could make a film, but people could do anything they wanted. They could do a poem, a monologue, a play, a song, whatever.
Right.
And I was like, I think I would like to make a script, and see where we go from there, and then make a film, So there were so many obstacles, and I didn't have a clue. I didn't know about. I knew about formatting a little bit because I had done acting already, but I didn't, know that there were like softwares out there that you could use that would help you format and, all these kind of technical things. And we just had obstacle after obstacle, quite honestly. But we finished it on time. We got it turned in. Long story short, Lizzie's Plan, the short film, has gotten accolades in 20 countries, over 100 accolades from from being an official selection to best of fest, best short film, best comedy, best actors, best music, and more. It's been amazing. I know that God did this because I certainly could not have done this. But don't get me wrong, we have an amazing family behind Lizzie's Plan. And what I mean by that is the cast and the director. Our director was Joshua Lang of Mechanical Dragons. He's so amazing. He has great experience directing, plus he has all these creative ideas and editing background, everything. And then our cast is just like a godsend. We have Tony Nevada, who's a Marine veteran. We have BJ Lang, who's an Air Force veteran. We have George Cantero, who's an Army veteran. Oh, and Josh is also an Army veteran, and I'm an Army veteran. So we were all veterans. And so it was just amazing. And now we're getting ready to shoot. I had written a pilot based on these characters and the success of the short film. And so now I've written a pilot and now 22 episode stories. And, just a fluke thing happened and we've decided to film an episode. It's not the pilot episode because that's like a real big ball of wax, but an episode, and I'm very, very excited about it.
So. Oh, I can't wait, because it is one of those that you see and then you're like, ooh, I wonder what's going to happen how are these characters going to develop? They're really funny. That's all I gotta say is they're really funny. You gotta check it out. But I was gonna ask you, what was I gonna say that I was so curious? Oh, how did you go from you're studying the Greek tragedies and think, oh, I'm gonna make a comedy?
Well, quite honestly, it was just so heavy, and my personal life has had its moments where it was been pretty heavy. And I think I just was like, I just cannot deal with any more heavy stuff. So how can I make this really light, just to break the tension, just to, have a little levity in the situation. So that's when I just sort of let the little girl and the immature girl in me go wild, and this is what I came up with. I don't know. I just, whether it's my songs or script, writing a script now or, acting, I just see like a little film in my head, and then I just start writing it, like just as if you were taking notes on something you're watching. Yeah. That's kind of my process.
That's how it comes about. That's kind of how the couple of documentaries that I've been a part of, and the documentary, it flows because it can change because you don't really know, but you got to have an outline of something. But it's like a little picture in there, and you draw out the outline, draw out what you think you want to capture and things like that. And then, if it happens, awesome.
Right.
Put it in, if not, it tweaks, but you have this like visual foundation. But I'm a visual person. You must be a visual person, and that's how it works out. And also back to like the heavy to the light.
Mhm.
There's a lot of people that use humor to deal with what's heavy. It's not to cover it up. It's just that, yeah, we can have crap that happens, but that doesn't mean you can't see the good that comes out of it, or the joy that is going to come out of it, or just give a laugh like, oh my God, I lost my shit. And I must have looked like a crazy badass woman or something, whatever it is, right? Like you can use humor to deal with pain and suffering.
Yes.
And tragedy that happens. So
absolutely. I mean, sometimes you just need a break, just a mental and emotional break from it. And, go watch something you love on TV or on video or, on the internet or whatever, just to give yourself a break to kind of get your strength back, to just try to make it so that you can, I guess, kind of like a boxing match. Okay. You get knocked out, you sit there for a second, the little stars are going around,
my life.
Okay. Time to get back up again, so for the next round. So I think that's how I see comedy for me as a writer, and even just, as a viewer.
Yeah. Well, you are like that perfect. I was watching some, I don't know, Netflix show, like stupid as I'm folding laundry earlier. And it was like, I forget the name of it. I'll have to tell you, but they're like Korean. And so it's based out of Canada. They have this little like convenience store, and it's about, and they're Korean. And so the whole thing, one episode was like, your son's not a doctor, he's not a lawyer. And I'm like, they need Mia in their life, because you're the doctor, the army medic, maybe not doctor, but army medic. You're going to be a lawyer. You're like the every Canadian Korean's dream. I'm probably going to get some hate message from that, but it's based off a Netflix show.
Well, to my parents' dismay, I did not go into law. No, they would have really loved to have that, but no, unfortunately for them. But fortunately for me, like a lot of the decisions I made, I made it on my own and fought the odds and fought the consensus. So.
And you have all those awards back there to prove, and in here to prove that basically you can do whatever you put your mind to. You little short little nugget, you. Seriously, I'm going to be wearing the flip-flops. You can wear the 5-inch heels next time. We might meet somewhere in the middle.
Yeah, close enough with the hair and the heels. And if you wear like some kind of shoes that, make you shorter than the ground, that would be great. Like I'll stand on the curb and you stand on the street. And then, so we have that plus some heels plus some big hair. And, I'll be looking eye to eye for a change.
Right? Instead of here.
That's right. Instead of being like, hello.
I'm like, here, Mia, right here. It's where I am.
Then I have to be like, hello.
Oh my gosh, I had so much fun with you today. Thank you for sharing how you got to where you are. I love your story. Where can people see your short film?
Well, they can visit my website, and that is www.mia-rivera.com. And that's www.mia-rivera.com. And contact me through the form there to see it. We're kind of at the tail end of our film festival circuit. And so we haven't been able to publicly play it besides the film festivals yet. But I can give you the password. And so if you contact me that you're interested in seeing it through the website, then I'm happy to share it with you.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Anybody who actually takes the effort to click and message, because I know as a society, that's like way too many steps to actually do. You won't. It will be worth your while. You won't regret any of that. But Mia, before I let you go, I ask that you answer this last question with the first thing that comes to your mind. You don't have to explain it. In this moment right now, what does love mean to you?
Right now, love of my career and where it's hopefully going is super important, but family also. So it's kind of the balance of the two right now for me, and how to balance them and give them each their proper due. I guess.
That is good. And everyone needs to have that in their life. And it's true. It is a love. It's a love for what your passion is. You can see your passion and your purpose, and also that love for your family and finding the way that it both works. And that's how it both works in your world. No one else's for you. That is love. You are so right on. You are so right on.
Wow. Thank you, teacher.
Yeah, you're welcome. And that's from a relationship expert. So you can take that one to the bank. That's true. Right?
Oh, wow. We're going to have a whole other set of conversations about that then.
Yeah. Next time we meet. We might not want to have wine involved. We might just, or maybe we do. I don't know. We'll figure that part out as it comes. But
yeah.
Thank you so much. And to everybody else that is out there, remember, as always, love hard, love pure, and love proactive. Until next time, take care.
Thanks for having me.